Hollywood Fringe Festival, that first came on my radar back in, oh gosh, was it 2013, maybe 2014? A friend of a friend was mounting a production of Antigone. And my friend said, my friend is doing Antigone and she needs someone to play Creon. So being the senior actor, the old guy who has some gray in his beard, I think I was a natural for the role. But I met the woman, her, and she said, "Oh gosh, yes, yes, come and play Creon with us." And so it was wonderful. It was really ragtag. We were rehearsing in apartments. We were rehearsing wherever we could. There was no Zoom at that time, so we couldn't avail ourselves of online. But we were just sort of putting it together, slapdash, however we could. I bought my own design and provided my own costume, and then we like show up and we have 15 minutes to prepare and the show goes on and whatever happens happens. And there was something so bold about that. It was like guerrilla theater. And that's how it is throughout the Fringe. And I think that's what makes the Fringe Festival so exciting, is that, it's just two planks and a passion. What have you got? Have you got a telephone to put on a table? Have you got something that looks like a book? Okay, let's do the play. And that's theater at its best. I've always believed in storytelling over stagecraft. And at the Fringe Festival, you have to rely on storytelling because there's no time or space or budget for stagecraft. So, that to me is what theater was always meant to be anyway. As soon as you start getting a bunch of lasers and, amazing effects and whatnot involved, then it's less of a theater piece and more of a multimedia event. And yes, we need multimedia events. Yes, we need big pieces. The Phantom of the Opera just closed on Broadway. I mean, that chandelier coming down, that's epic. But at the Fringe Festival, you're not going to get huge chandeliers, but you're going to get people telling stories with their hearts, and with sweat running down their faces. And that's my kind of theater.
I first heard about the Hollywood Fringe Festival actually last year. My roommate, Lola Darzans, and a couple of other people from my Stella Adler acting studio, we had created our own solo shows as a part of the curriculum from the studio. And our teachers and professors had all said, there's a really great outlet for this if you're looking to develop your piece beyond just the studio. And it's called the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And so getting to watch my cohort go through that process of developing their show into this bit of a longer format show and create something really unique and enter it into this community. I just think that Hollywood Fringe is such a special community because I do think that Los Angeles kind of gets a reputation as, I mean, it's impossible to deny it. We are TV and film based and heavy, and there is not a lot of emphasis or attention or media presence on theater as there is film or TV. And the opportunities that Hollywood Fringe Festival provides, networking with local artists, networking with local theater spaces, networking with local directors, everything is so, so central to Los Angeles that it has made me realize that we do have a theater community, and there are theater actors and directors and performers and writers and designers that live right here that we can start networking with today. And I think that is a huge, wonderful opportunity. And it makes Fringe so, so integral to being a theater based performer, artist, however you want to say, in Los Angeles?
Well, I've heard about the Fringe Festival in LA when I moved in many years ago, and I attended many of my friends' performances. It's my first Fringe. I've done other Fringes in Europe, but this is my first Fringe in LA. And it's interesting. It's so spread out. I went to one of those office hours um, evenings, and these are very cool. You know, since I've done the European version of it, it takes over such a city when we do it there that you really feel for 2 weeks that we take over the city. Here, it's so spread out. You still don't have that that theater, that you inhabit over there. I don't want to sound like, but it's exciting to be a part of a movement, especially after the pandemic, which feels really puts the theater back in action in LA. You know what I mean? It's just the pandemic really changed the the pendulum on live performances. So having being part of that first really Fringe festival after the pandemic, it's very exhilarating. It's very exciting, whether it is not spread or not, because this is the nature of the city. It's very exciting, and you feel it at these office hours evenings. You feel we're part of something fun. It's exciting. I think it's all about community. I think the community spirit for COVID got hurt everywhere in the world. We are more and more individual in our approach. First, because it was for health reasons, and now it's you order your food online. So the sense of community got a big hit, and we're still all recovering from this PTSD. We all have PTSD in a way. Um, so live events, whether it is music or stage, um, brings us back together. It does, and there are not many things that do. You watch Netflix at home. It's not a sense of community at all. You go to the movie theaters. It's a little bit community, but it doesn't have that exchange again. So it's very important. I hope people will come to the theater and come back, be part of the community, because we all belong to it. They should come to see. People should come to the Fringe to, well, first of all, to be part of the community. We're going back to the community. Sorry, to this community concept after the pandemic. Support artists, but to be entertained, get out of the house and have a really good time, whether it is to see our very serious show, in intellectual, whatever it is, or see a stand up or a comedy. There's some really good shows out there. You know, the office hours, evenings, we exchange our ideas and each other's shows, and there are really good shows out there. So yeah, please come out, see some good theater.
Hollywood Fringe Festival is amazing. I would recommend making a couple days or a couple weekends out of it because, first of all, the way that it's organized, you can stand to see, I think, maybe 3 or 4 shows in one day, which I cannot think of another theatrical hotspot or location where you can do that. Like, you can't go to Broadway and see 3 or 4 shows in one day. It is an amazing experience. You get to meet and network with local artists, and the variety of fringe shows is insane. I mean, you could go see our play in the afternoon, Oleanna, a very timely drama um, about gender and the accusations around sexual misconduct. And then you could go see uh, as one of the shows that I've been talking to Feel Your Feet, which is a musical improv show. And then in the night, you could go see this other show, Bugs. It's a sketch comedy all based around bugs. And they have somebody playing David Attenborough to host. And then you could go see another show, it's an Edgar Allan Poe based show. And it's a little bit of dark humor, a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy. That is such an amazing array of different shows all in the same day that I think is a great way to balance out. Maybe you see something heavier a little bit earlier in the day, and so you need something lighter to tone it down. And what a great way to network with a bunch of working Los Angeles artists.
But I'll tell you, the Hollywood Fringe Festival is a must-see for anyone who lives here for anyone, period. Because it's this smorgasbord of theater experience. There's plays that will make you laugh. There's little performance pieces that will make you cry. There's such a depth of talent in writing, playing, directing, designing, and I mean it's an opportunity to just dive into the deep end of creative theater endeavor and swim to your heart's content. I love it because every time I've gone to the Fringe, I've seen something that I never expected to see. I was introduced to some ideas and some comic ideas that I never had encountered before, and I never have come away anything but delighted and enthused, and it always gets my theatrical juices flowing, and I start to get creative again just from the experience of witnessing and diving into all of that wonderful creativity. So go see the Fringe Festival. Just go. Just show up.
For me, my experience with Hollywood Fringe Festival has been integral to, as I've said before, meeting and working with other artists that are local to Los Angeles. I think that it keeps our theater scene alive, and it keeps the actual physical theater venues alive, which are so important. There are so many amazing theater venues that are playing host for the Fringe Festival. So it's exposing a lot of people to different theater locations around Los Angeles. And again, it's just a great networking opportunity. I can't think of another way that artists could meet different directors or different actors. And I already know going forward that I'm going to see all these people's shows, and then I'm going to want to connect with them after and see what projects we can work on together after this festival. And without the support of people coming to see our Hollywood Fringe festivals, I mean, who knows, we could draw in more creatives and make the festival even bigger next year because of the audiences that we're drawing in this year. That is so important to me as an artist. I think that, like I said, the community that I found when I entered the theater, I'm feeling it revitalized here at Hollywood Fringe. And for me, that is what theater is. Theater is community, and seeing that sense of community at Fringe is what needs to be supported and uplifted by viewers and by members of our local community here in Los Angeles.
The importance of a thing like the Fringe Festival is beyond just art. Events like the Fringe Festival, events like the Edinburgh Festival, the Venice Biennial, all of these gatherings of artists of all media. It's not just a gathering of artists; it's a gathering of people. Because the Fringe Festival, in and of itself, if nobody went to it, then it's pointless. If nobody went to see the Beverly Hills Art Fair, it would be pointless, because art is an unfinished sentence if no one is there to view it, to hear it, to take it in, to be challenged, delighted, amused by it. We have to complete that circle as human beings. It's what we must do in order for any of this to have any meaning. Conversely, if we don't have art to see, if we don't have music to hear, or stories to listen to, then we're incomplete as well. Our society is incomplete. It's part of us. Humans are narrative animals. I think, as we saw in the pandemic, when we were cut off from each other, cut off from art, cut off from social gatherings, we began to wither as a species. People were literally losing their minds because of the isolation. No, the Fringe Festival, the Jazz Fest in New Orleans, all of these amazing gatherings are about completing the circle of humanity, and about being fully human, and not a dangling participle. I think the pandemic proves that idea.
Hi, I'm Jean-Michel Richaud. I'm playing John in the play Oleanna at the Fringe Festival. We are playing at the Zephyr Theatre on Melrose. It's a show written by David Mamet, and it's a wonderful, wonderful, I wouldn't say important, but it is a very life-changing experience. It creates dialogue, creates drama, entertainment. I couldn't recommend this show more. It's an important work to go see with a wonderful team. See you at the theater.
Hey, my name is Claire Wagner, and I'm playing Carol in Oleanna by David Mamet at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Come see us at the Zephyr Theatre on Melrose Avenue. It is a wonderful and timely play that looks at gender, race, class, sex, all of the things that are timely and all the things that we're talking about today here in the United States. It is a beautifully written play. It is amazing to get to work with this director and my fellow actor on this play, and we would love if you come out and support us, because it is such an important story that needs to be told today, and you will be having a conversation as you walk out the theater with your other audience members. So come see us and let's start this conversation.
My name is Miguel Perez. I'm lucky enough to have a team around me that all believes that the story of Oleanna by David Mamet is a story you need to hear. And I would encourage you to come down to the Hollywood Fringe Festival. We open June 3rd and run throughout the month of June, and sit down and listen to us tell this story for you. You will not be disappointed. You may end up feeling kind of angry, but you won't forget the evening you spent with us. I promise you that. We won't waste your time.